to be able to enjoy the simplicity of life. You have to really simplify your life into these little anchors, and then you truly can find the joy in everyday tasks. Hi everyone, and welcome to another video, another podcast of Forecasting Wellness. I know the name has changed since the first episode, which was all about your friendships last week. I had a deep think about the title of the podcast, and I felt like this made more sense to me. It means that whatever I talk about can be applicable to you in your 20s, but also can be applicable to a lot of different people in different certain life decades and life experiences. So yes, welcome to the newly improved Forecasting Wellness podcast. I am Emmy, your host, and many of you guys might know me from my YouTube channel, which has really taken a hiatus over the past 2-3 years as I was doing my university degree. But it's great to be back into it. I actually have been out of my university degree for about a year and nearly a half now. So that's actually really shocking, really crazy that I haven't jumped back into the social media bandwagon. But here I am back, guys, and I'm doing something I've always had quite a knack for, quite a interest in, and that is podcasting. Actually, scratch that. Last year, I really was making fun of people who listen to podcasts, like not in a negative way. But honestly, guys, for the last few months, I have been listening to 2 or 3 more podcasts every single day, and it's actually getting ridiculous. And it's really rejuvenated my inspiration, my creativity that I've pushed aside to focus on academics for so long. So I'm really glad that I'm here. I am jotting down all my ideas. I'm carrying around a notebook with me, for goodness sakes. I have that many ideas, that many creative spurts that I just have to put it down somewhere. So I've got my notes on my app, or I've got the notebook in my bag if I have it with me. So it's really crazy about all this creativity flooding back. But either way, welcome to Wellness, Forecasting Wellness. I hope that everyone is having a good week, a good time. I honestly, if I'm thinking about my past week, it has been hectic. I did a lot on the weekend, had to recover for it on Sunday, which was quite funny in a way, because normally I don't have to recover. I am normally someone who doesn't really get like a hangover or is exhausted too much, but my age might be getting into me, and I really needed to recover and spend that day really resting. I'm sure if I make a few more episodes and podcasts, a lot more people will understand the kind of person I am. I am not someone who likes to rest. I'm not someone who likes to chill and relax. So I think in my age of 23, my fresh little age, I'm starting to realize the value in doing that and how it can help you mentally, spiritually, as a person, just your health, everything. It just, resting can pile up so high and help you in so many different ways. So that is something definitely that I'm focusing on. But that was my weekend. My weekdays, pretty much the same mundane activities. Waking up at 5 a.m., going straight to gym, which I love. It gets my day really started off. And because I now have like a sit-down job, I don't feel bad in a way for sitting down for most of that period. Like I do stand up at the standing desk occasionally, but being able to understand and know that I've done that workout early in the morning, I can actually go home straight from the public transport, go straight home, sit on the couch and wait until I have to make dinner, and I do not feel bad for it. So that is one way that I've taught myself in a way how to manage that type of anxiety. So yeah, this is the same mundane kind of stuff, going to work after gym and doing the work there, and then coming back home, hanging out with my partner, cooking dinner, and then watching the block. I'm not sure if anyone is Australian that is watching this / listening to this, but the block is my jam. I used to be obsessed with this show called House Rules. It was only for a few seasons and then they stopped, but I was seriously obsessed with it. The block I think has been going on for way longer than House Rules and ever did, but I never actually went around to watching it. I've always been too busy with my academics or whatever. But now I make a conscious effort every Sunday to Wednesday. I sit down at 7:30, I put on Channel 9 and I watch House Rules, and I am involved in the drama. I'm involved in the teams. I know who to go for. I know who to not go for. And it's honestly such a exciting part of my day in a way. And that actually leads us to the title of this episode and what I should be getting into pretty soon. But if you can see the title, today is, if you don't know what to live for the next iced matcha. Basically, this title came to me not by my own creativity. I do have to admit that someone wrote a short story / poem that popped up on my TikTok. I think theirs was called, if you don't know what to live for the next cup of tea. I changed it slightly, said the next iced matcha, because that is my craze right now. It has been my craze for the past year and a half. And honestly, it is a big craze online as well. So I thought it would be more applicable in a way for me to change it that way. But I do want to shout out that person. I will put it in the comments section because I do not remember from the top of my head who they were and what their TikTok account is, but it is giving me so much creativity to latch onto that idea and spin it in a way that I can say what I want to say. Grab your iced matcha, put your headphones on and go for your hot girl walk, and let's get into it. So the whole topic today is, if you don't know what to live for your next iced matcha. Now, this isn't like a drink review. This isn't, what matcha is better. It is a mindset. So it's about those small everyday things that give us joy and motivation when everything seems so uncertain and so unsure. And I wanted to get into the science of this comment, this fact. The TikTok artist that wrote highlighted that everyday tasks can be so mundane, can be so boring, and you can wake up one day and be like, I am sick of my life, I'm so bored, there's nothing that's genuinely giving me joy. You slip into depression in some sort of way, you're unhappy with a lot of aspects in your life. And that TikTok artist really highlighted the fact that if you have nothing to live for the small little moments. Live for your next cup of tea that you're going to have tomorrow. Live for the sound of the ocean waves when you go to the beach, when it's summer. Live for the leaves falling from trees when it's fall or autumn, because that's your favorite season. You have to really find and hone small moments of joy and love in your life to be able to enjoy the simplicity of life. You have to really simplify your life into these little anchors, and then you truly can find the joy in everyday tasks. So psychologists actually call these micro anchors. So they're little routines that help stabilize our day. It can be small things like making your bed when you wake up, or going for a hot girl walk before you start your 9 to 5, or even, like the title says, ordering your favorite iced matcha from a local cafe that you know hits the spot and makes it the correct green color and it makes it really good. For me, it definitely is my iced matcha or my iced coffee. I don't really have it warm either, but every day I have been getting into and really excited to get my iced coffee or get my iced matcha, make it at home. I recently got a coffee machine for my birthday, which I'm generally so excited about. I might input you guys about it in the future when I use it way more. But I have been generally so happy to wake up, so keen to put that coffee pod in the machine and make my coffee with my favorite type of milk and drink it and be so happy. And I try to savor it as well. I drink it slowly. I'm not a fast sipper. I love to enjoy that iced coffee or iced matcha because I know how much joy it brings me, how much I was so excited to wake up and have it. So I really want to sit down and enjoy that feeling. Harvard research actually shows that people who practice even tiny daily rituals report higher well-being and lower anxiety. And why is this? Well, it's because they create predictable moments in unpredictable lives. Pause for a second. I want you guys to think about what is a small ritual in your life that you genuinely look forward to. Even if it feels really, really silly, like I said, it was my iced matcha or iced coffee. I wouldn't say it's silly, but it's something very small. This is your personal high pressure system. Yeah, even if it seems silly, I think it's an amazing thing to cherish and hold on to and really give that thought and kindness towards it. If you realize that what excites you about every day is cuddling a dog after a long day at work, hold on to that. By me saying hold on to that, I mean acknowledge that it's giving you joy, and then when you get to those moments during the day, make sure you practice mindfulness in a way to actually savor and enjoy that moment. Like I said before, with my iced coffee or iced matcha, I don't scull it. I try and drink it slowly throughout the day so I actually am enjoying the total amount of it, not having it for a fleeting small second. If your joy is cuddling your dog after a long, hard day of work, make sure that it's not one quick little cuddle. Grab your dog, maybe when you're watching TV, hold on to him or her and give her a good cuddle. And then obviously you'll be releasing endorphins and all that stuff. But because it's your small moment of joy, you are generally happy and practicing mindfulness in that moment. And we all know with mindfulness comes less anxiety. So we're literally linking right back to the Harvard research about how it increases your well-being and reduces your anxiety. Now I'm slightly going into the weather type of scheme into this episode. I wanted to talk about a little weather metaphor, and this is high pressure systems. So in meteorology, high pressure systems, not sure if everyone knows, maybe you might know by watching your local weatherwoman or weatherman on the TV, but they're associated with calm, stable conditions. So no storms, not really any chaos, just steady, clear skies. You might have a few fluffy clouds in the sky. You might have a slight little wind, but it's the perfect day for your hot girl walk. It's the perfect day to take the dogs out for a walk. It's a perfect day to just sit outside and drink tea or your coffee and embrace the sun and embrace the warm weather. Also, again, high pressure systems can go in winter. They are pretty prevalent in winter. High pressure systems aren't just for summer, they happen all the time. But in winter, this would be associated with just calm, stable conditions. Like I mentioned in the previous episode how I hate gusts of wind. This would be the complete opposite. This would be my happy place. No gusts of wind. Your simple, small ritual in your day that gives you joy, like my iced matcha, can be your high pressure system. It doesn't solve everything. It doesn't solve all the anxiety in your mind, but it steadies the atmosphere of your life. It essentially steadies your mind, your racing thoughts. It gives you one predictable thing to count on every day or every few days, depending on how often you do your predictable, steady iced matcha or ritual. But it gives you that one predictable thing to count on, like a patch of clear sky in the middle of a foggy day. Going back to this analogy, your brain is this big pile of fog with lots of racing thoughts, lots of things you have to think about. I have to take the dog out on walk. The dog needs to go to the vet. I need to organize a birthday party. I need to get these presents. Oh, I need to visit my parents soon. And your racing thoughts and also work and all that stuff. But then you go and get your iced matcha and you try and sit down, you savor the moment, and everything seems to fall away. I'm not saying it is the solution. It doesn't solve everything, but it does steady the atmosphere of your life. And I honestly find that really beautiful, and I cannot advocate enough how crucial it is to have these important rituals in your life that you can find simple joy out of. So what is your high pressure system? What is something small that brings you calm or joy? And there's a cool part to all of this. Your brain actually rewards anticipation. Neuroscientists have found that thinking about a positive experience releases dopamine, sometimes even more than the experience itself. So when you wake up knowing you're going to make your iced matcha in the morning, or you're getting that iced coffee, or you're going on that hot girl walk with your best friend, your brain is already giving you a little reward to hold on to. That is why looking forward to something small isn't so trivial. It literally motivates you to get through your day. There is so much science about this. It's not just a little thing to be like, oh, self-care, let's just pick something that gives us joy and keep it happening. Because again, that will change. As you grow up, your little routine that gives you joy will change. An iced matcha can be your joy right now. But then, as you grow up in 5-10 years, you might hate iced matchas. Not saying that I will, but you may. And then it'll swap to something else. You don't want to get bored of what you're excited for. But if you're one of those people that can be excited for something for a very long time, congrats. I'm kind of jealous of you. I feel like I might get bored of it. This idea of finding something small to keep as a ritual and find joy in isn't trivial. It actually helps your brain. It helps your mood. It helps your anxiety. It helps your well-being. And this is Forecasting Wellness podcast. Of course, we want to talk about something where we can help forecast our wellness. This whole episode is basically an embodiment of the title of this podcast. We are embracing wellness by forecasting or anticipating some ritual that we will be doing every day that gives us simple joy, gives us simple happiness and simple benefits to our well-being. Your 20s can feel like a very unpredictable weather forecast. I'm talking a lot about weather. I didn't think I mentioned this at the start of the episode, but forecasting wellness, hence the forecasting in the podcast name, I will be mentioning a lot about weather kind of systems, weather stuff. I am a huge weather nerd, so I kind of like to link analogies with weather. I feel like it's easy for me to remember, and I get to talk about something I have very high passion about. You are talking to a girl who hopefully will be a future meteorologist, so that is something I'm wanting to explore and connect to other aspects in my life. But yeah, 20s can feel like a very unpredictable weather forecast. Some days are very sunny and clear and you're happy and you're jumping for joy and everything's going well, whilst other days are very stormy and confusing. You don't know what's happening. And just like meteorologists, we do not have perfect clarity for weeks in advance. Meteorologists don't get it 100% right every single time. And we can't either. We're humans. We are defaulted to error. This is why the podcast is called Forecasting Wellness. You can only forecast things that you can do that can help you generally feel better every day and take care of your mental health and take care of yourself and generally embody self-care. You cannot predict it to 100%. You cannot accurately guess what exactly is going to happen. That is the whole general gist of overthinking. You don't know what's going to happen, and that is why you overthink. You overthink because there's so many options, you can't even get started on one. You're like, what if this happens? But then what if this happens? You don't have to give any of these thoughts clarity and justification. You just need to accept that life is a forecast. You can only forecast and make sure you have something set in place to help you when times are tough, when times are stormy. Instead of trying to predict every single outcome in your life, your career, relationships, finances, even happiness, focus on these short-term anchors. A morning walk, your favorite drink, a call with a friend, going out to your favorite cafe, just even a workout. I love my morning workouts. I generally go to bed and am not dreading hitting that 5 a.m. alarm. I'm excited for that 5 a.m. alarm to go off because I know that this workout, even though it might be tough, I'm generally going to have a good time. I'm generally going to feel so much better when I finish it, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of my 16 hours I'm awake or so forth. But again, these small rituals are your micro forecasts in a way. They stabilize you when the bigger picture unfolds. So I really want to push it and ingrain it into you guys to really reflect on your life and try and figure out what is my micro forecast? What is my micro anchor that really gives me joy every day that I can look forward to, and then practice mindfulness whilst I'm doing it. You don't want to spend your days and your life waiting for spring to happen. You don't want to wait your whole year just for those 3 months of summer, because you know summer is when you're happiest. You need to find ways to stay warm in the cold. You need to find ways to nourish your brain and nourish yourself and keep moving forward, even though the forecast out there is not good. The actual reality of what's happening outside is not good. The reality of the storm in your brain is not good. Ice matcha can be your winter comfort, your predictable joy. Something that reminds you that life can feel good even when the bigger purpose isn't clear yet. So I'm recording on my MacBook. My camera died, but I really want to continue what I was speaking about because I am currently in the passionate mode of speaking about it and talking about it. I definitely didn't want to take the break and wait for my battery to charge. So continuing on for this video on YouTube. On a podcast, you will get the same amount of audio. Hopefully, I haven't moved spots, so should be fine. A micro ritual is something that reminds you that life can feel good, even when the bigger purpose isn't clear yet. And purpose is something that I'm not going to touch on in this episode at all. It is a whole different episode, even a series, if I may say, of things, because purpose is this idea that everyone is striving for in life. We imagine that we've got a purpose, that we've been set up with a purpose in life. And the reality is that most of us don't know what this is. And if we go crazy trying to chase it, it's not going to lead into anything positive. You need to have these little micro anchors in your day-to-day routine that reminds you that life is good, even if you don't know your purpose. If you're a lucky person who knows your purpose, I'm glad for you. Really, congrats. That is absolutely amazing. But majority of us don't have this purpose that we've got. We don't sit there and be like, yeah, I know exactly why I am on this earth. But to find the simple joys and pleasures in everyday life is what you're supposed to be doing. Let's try and apply this in a practical forecast. Here is your practical forecast for navigating uncertainty. Number 1, like I've said this whole episode, pick one micro anchor. This is a daily ritual that brings you calmness and motivation and is a form of self-care. It doesn't have to be matcha, anything works. Iced coffee, walk with a friend, call with a friend, cuddles with your partner, cuddles with your dog. I can continue the list for so long. But make sure to generally pick one micro anchor. You can have more, but we're starting off small and having one micro anchor to input in our everyday lives. Second, anticipate joy. Even schedule it down, write it down, treat it like an event. Be like, at this exact time, I'm going to make sure that I'm doing something that generates joy in my life. This can be your micro anchor again. It doesn't have to be something different. Your brain absolutely loves it, like we mentioned before from the Harvard research. Your brain loves anticipation. And then 3, a reminder to trust the seasons. Just like weather changes, so do you, so does life. Life will shift, but these anchors will help you stay grounded until you gain that clarity. Clarity won't come straight away, but make sure to find the simple joys and pleasures in your life. So take a moment and plan. What is that one daily micro anchor that you're going to try and make sure you're doing every day? If you haven't been doing one, try and figure out what would work best for you. What gives you joy that you could easily make sure that you do it every day. And if you're already doing some, but you haven't realized you're doing some, make sure you take that event to actually sit down and practice some sort of mindfulness whilst you're doing that event. Whilst you're having your iced coffee, drink it slowly. Enjoy the taste. Think about the taste. Don't think about any of your other worries in life, or let alone worry about your purpose. Please don't do that. But that one small step definitely counts. So here's the takeaway. If you don't know what to live for right now, live for the next iced matcha, or the next walk, or the next call, or the next mini ritual that will help you keep moving forward. Life is definitely unpredictable. Your 20s are full of fog, storms, and endless possibilities. But these small anchors, these high-pressure systems, like I mentioned before, in your personal atmosphere, can stabilize you, refresh you, and guide you towards wellness. I want to thank you guys for listening to Forecasting Wellness, the second episode of this podcast. If this really resonated with you guys, please share it with a friend who's been feeling the same way, or a friend who's in their 20s, or a friend that you generally think would be able to gain a lot of clarity and input from this. If that friend is feeling a little lost and uncertain now, and you have listened to this episode, I hope that it has helped you to really notice what to change in your life, what mini anchor that you can implement to really impact your small moments of joy that you experience day to day. And remember, life does not have to be planned to be meaningful. I'll catch you guys in the next forecast. See you.